Burnt offerings to Baal. Jeremiah 19, 5-6. They have built also the high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. I believe the exact location of the valley of Hinnom and its history is of importance to understand its application to prophecy that has yet to be fulfilled. When the Lord comes to fulfill his wrath, it will then be called the valley of slaughter. In Jeremiah 19, 1-2, the Lord instructed Jeremiah to go to the valley of the son of Hinnom, located by the east gate. One might conclude that it was on the eastern side of Jerusalem. However, according to the map of the city, the valley of Hinnom borders the western side of the city, connecting with the valley of Kidron, which is on the south side of Jerusalem, and it is the valley of Jehoshaphat that is on the eastern side. The geographical location of this valley was near the gate of the potsherds, which makes sense because that is where the broken pottery was thrown away. In the beginning of the previous chapter, Jeremiah is told by the Lord to visit a potter, and he will speak to him there. In Jeremiah 18, 6-7, the Lord declares that the house of Israel is like clay in his hands, and he is able to do good or evil to it depending on whether they obey the Lord or not. Jeremiah was sent to the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to warn them that if they did not cease from their evil ways, the Lord would repent of the good he wanted to do for them. The severity of their punishment was written in Jeremiah 18, 15-17. Because my people hath forgotten me, they have burned incense to vanity, and they have caused them to stumble in their ways from their ancient paths, to walk in paths in a way not cast up, to make their land desolate and a perpetual hissing. Every one that passeth thereby shall be astonished and wag his head. I will scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I will show them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. In Jeremiah 19, 3-4, the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, declares through the prophet that he will bring such evil upon this place that whoever hears about it will feel their ears tingling. It is because they have estranged this place by burning incense to other gods and filled the place with the blood of innocents. Consider that at the time the Antichrist is revealed, he will have established himself to be worshipped as God in the temple, according to 2 Thessalonians 4:2. This will be the temple that the Jews will rebuild upon the original site of Solomon's temple. In Joshua 15:8, there is a description of the border of the land between Judah and Benjamin. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom unto the south side of the Jebusite, the same is Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lieth before the valley of Hinnom westward, which is at the end of the valley of the giants northward. It was the threshing floor on the mount that David bought from Ornan the Jebusite, that later was given to Solomon for the building of the temple. Jeremiah refers to this valley of slaughter in 7:32-34, which describes the kind of scene as spoken of in Matthew 24:28, where the eagles will gather together to feast on the carcasses. Jeremiah says that the carcasses of this people will be meat for the fowls. Likewise, Revelation 19:21 says that the remnant of those slain by the sword of God will fill the fowls with their flesh. In Jeremiah 32:34-44, we learn that although the Lord intends to allow the inhabitants of Jerusalem to be delivered into the hands of the king of Babylon, where they will suffer famine and pestilence, still the Lord will gather them out of all the countries that he dispersed them in his anger and fury and great wrath, and allow them to dwell safely. The Lord intends to make an everlasting covenant with them, to never turn away from them, because he will put his fear in their hearts. To paraphrase verse 41, the Lord plans to rejoice over his people, to do good to them, and plant them in this land, assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. The Lord explains through Jeremiah that even though he brought this great evil upon them, so will he also bring them all the good that he promised, as found in verse 42. Even though the people will say the land is desolate, they will buy the fields, and the Lord will cause their captivity to return. Jeremiah 18:9 explains, "And at what instance I shall speak concerning a nation, and concerning a kingdom, to build and to plant it." The new Jerusalem will come down from heaven, adorned as a bride for her bridegroom. The church is the bride of Christ. Yet in Jeremiah 7:34, we are warned that at the time of the desolation, the voice of the bride and the bridegroom would not be heard in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. The Lord has prepared a time for a wedding feast, the marriage supper of the Lamb. But there will be desolation before that occurs, as written in Luke 21:20, when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. It will only be the intervention of the Lord of hosts that will prevent complete annihilation by man, and it will be for the sake of the elect that those days will be cut short, as written in Matthew 24:22. But the Lord intends to create all things new, as written in Revelation 21:1, when John saw the new heaven and earth, because the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.